Welcome to Dove and Dragon Radio. I'm your host, M.L.Ruscsak. I'm here with special guest, Ramzy Sweis. Welcome.
Thank you.
Now, if I got this right, you're a little bit of a comedian and do a little bit of other things. So what got you into what it is that you do?
Yeah, thank you for the introduction. People that perform stand up, they say that, oh well, men and women are both comedian. There's no such thing as comedian, and I just felt like that. I just felt as if that ever since that people weren't being gender appropriating and saying comedian, that just I never decided to do stand. I wanted to do stand up, but I did it in a different way because I didn't want to be called. I just felt like that was sexist. So I didn't I I don't I'm a comedian, but I'm not called a comedian. That makes sense?
Okay. So what do you like to be called?
Um a tragedian.
Okay.
I mean no, I mean just like just I guess a performer. Um yeah, I mean it's not I don't I also don't really agree with kind of the way stand-up comedy is, just the kind of how the it's no whole how there's no really parameters. People just go up there and just wing it, and it's got a 99.99% failure rate. Stand-up comedy, more people have failed at succeeding, and by succeeding I mean being able to um, you know make a career out of it. It's probably a 0.0001%. So yeah, I just think of myself as I mean, if what I want to be called, I guess just like a physical prop comedy performer or artist, or I mean anything but comedian.
Okay. That sounds fine. I mean, I've known a few stand-up artists that were personal friends. Some of them have gotten into the Hollywood type lifestyle. Some of them have not. It really depends on the individual. And as you said, there's no parameters. So it's really what they put out and what the audience actually gravitates to.
Yeah, because I mean everybody that I've ever done stand up for, I've only performed from 2010 to 2014.
Mhm.
But yeah, in those 4 years, everyone's saying, "Oh, well, you have to be nice and stand up. You have to be. If you're not nice to other people, no one's gonna book you." And I said, "That's the most ridiculous thing. You have to, because stand-up comedy is about being cutthroat and edgy. And now people are saying, no, you have to be an angel. You have to, um, you know, you have to put everything with a bow on it." And I said, well, that's not what stand-up comedy is to me. To me, it's more, no holds barred. It's very similar to you ever seen Liar Liar,
Mhm.
the Jim Carrey? You remember
Yes.
that scene where he beats himself up in the bathroom,
Yes.
and the guy said, "What do you?" And the judge said, "What are you doing?" He said, "I'm beating my." Like, that's pretty much the way stand-up comedy is. You go on a limb, and that's why when there are introductions to stand-up, they try to make it out to be more than it is, because people know that. For example, when I talked to the owner of Zany's Comedy, he said, stand-up comedy is listening to sweat form and trickle down your back. He said the definition of stand up is listening to sweat,
Mhm.
form.
Yeah.
So, I mean, people, yeah. So, I mean, people think oh, it's so easy. It's so easy. Oh, it's so impossible. It's so impossible. And for me, I feel as if there should be, I feel that there should be more a merit or more merit. Yeah. You know, more of a system to it, to where people are saying, oh, well, I'm a professional comedian. Yeah, but that's not even, that's almost the same as saying, oh, well, I'm Clifford the Big Red Dog, because there's no, like you, when you were saying, there's no parameters. You can't
Mhm.
just say I'm a professional novelist, because people are going to laugh at you. So, I mean, because that doesn't, you can't really say I mean, maybe you can't really say I'm a professional comedian, I'm a professional novelist. You know what I'm saying? You
Mhm.
could write a novel and not sell any books and say you're a novelist. You know, there's no shame in that. And you could try stand-up comedy once to say you're a comedian. But for people that say, oh, well, you have to be nice or no one's gonna ever hire you.
Mhm.
Well, that's that's the most hypocritical thing, to say that you could go on stage and you could say anything you want about, and people have to be nice to you. But when I go on stage, you know, oh, I have to follow these rules. No, I don't think that's fair. I think everybody should be treated the same, and there shouldn't be that's why comedy, it should be any party favorite. That's why Comedy Central was able to was crashed, is because a lot of Comedy Central, everybody knows this, that has ever done comedy. The way that you go on Comedy Central is that you have to pay the producers an extra money.
Mhm.
um, like Sebastian Maniscalco, you know, there's a lot of Italians that go on Comedy Central, and so a lot of people don't know that when you do comedy, they think, oh well, if you're a TikTok star, a YouTube star, or a YouTube comedian, TikTok comedian, or you go on, you know, The Voice, that you're going to make bank. But you're more than likely are paying for that airtime. Um, you know, a lot of people on Comedy
You have to
Central, they
pay
pay to be on
dues.
comedy.
With
Yeah.
in the media, it's called dues. You pay your dues, but it takes, if you're a stand-up artist, comedian, whatever you want to be called, regardless if you're doing poetry, if you're doing comedy, if you're doing whatever on an open mic, you usually pay a fee to be on the mic. Doesn't matter where it is. If you get to the bigger stars, the comedy essentials, you're paying a lot more money to be heard. You're paying money every time you go to in theater to stand on the stage. People don't think about this part.
Yeah. Yeah, and so as an open micer, when you have to pay your ticket to go into a certain venue, and then you have to bring 10 people, I just said, you know what? In 2014, it was January 1st. If on my channel, Never Repeat a Joke, you'll see it.
Mhm.
It was my last show. I was saying, you know what? This is not stand up for me to have to go to perform, to pay the bouncer that hired me and bring 10 people to pay $50 more. I was just thinking, you know what? So yeah, that was my last day on my YouTube channel. It'll show January 1st, and it was the same day that Barack Obama had exited the Oval Office.
Mhm.
And ironically, the first I started because of when he won his second term, because the reason why I stand up is was because I was at a barber, and this woman was talking about how she wanted to kill Barack Obama, and I was just thinking that I was thinking, you know what, I'm never gonna have this chance to where you could just go on stage and just, you know, wing it, and just because back in when Barack was here, everything wasn't people weren't policing each other, and people weren't saying, oh well, that's not unisex and gender neutral and gender friendly. That happened after Obama. So there was still, you know, when Trump was he destroyed so many careers with this PC being everything having to be politically correct and spell check and grammar check. So yeah, I got out right at the perfect time. And for those, if there are, sorry if I forgot to mention, if there's anybody listening, my website ramzysweis.com is also interchangeable with neverrepeatedjoke.com. But yeah, I mean, to answer your question, if I wanted to be called what I want to be called is probably the never repeat a joke. Um, you know, I just felt like I feel like that's so much more. If people were saying, well, what do you do? Do you do written word? Do you do poetry slam? Do you do improvising or open micing or stand up? I would say no. I never repeat a joke. That's the best, the most concrete, and the most comprehensive way of saying what I do is what I do. And ironically, in 2010 when I started, people have been saying, "Oh, well, yeah, you do," and that's that's basically that's the one of the biggest uh, coincidences that I've been running into is people saying, "Oh yeah, you repeat jokes." Yeah, a lot of people that watch me that watch my show or that know me or that are friends of friends, they'll say, "Oh no, yeah, I know you repeated at least one joke," and I'm like, "Okay, well you're acting as if proving that I repeated one of my jokes during my 4 years is going to be like evidence and persecute me and remove my creative license. But the truth of the matter is that stand-up comedy, for example, Seinfeld has all of his material on Seinfeld.com, so you can't go on and say, oh well, this is copywritten, and so um it is possible to never repeat a joke, and that's basically why I started it. It wasn't about money, but to prove. I mean, it was expensive in a way, and if I didn't making money, I tried to sell the app. I probably would have went beyond 2014. But honestly, the main reason why I started it was not only because of that woman telling me she wanted to kill Barack Obama, which I don't know, that just completely changed my perspective. Um, One of the reasons, shoot, what was I gonna say that I started was because uh, man, I forgot what I was gonna say.
Just like doing improv, you forget what you're going to say, so you just go with something else, right? I have a lot
Oh
of
no,
friends
I was
in
gonna.
different parts of entertainment, so this actually happens all the time.
Oh yeah, it was one of the reasons why I wanted to start stand up. To do never repeat a joke. Oh yeah. I mean, I wanted to prove that it could be done, and um, I don't know. It'll come back to me. I'm sorry.
Oh, it's perfectly fine. I mean, this happens. You get on your train of thought, you start this talking, and then you forget what you're originally going to say.
Okay, now, yeah. Oh no, what I was gonna say is that I felt as if at that time people will say, why do you number your episodes? Why do you have never repeat a joke 99, 98? And I was thinking, well, the reason why, because people used to make fun of me about how I organized or
Mhm.
how I had structured my show on my YouTube channel. Um, and the thing is that I honestly, the reason why I was listening to some of the negativity was because I honestly, when I did start it, I felt as if I felt as if I thought of a piece of real estate. It's like the Galapagos Islands or something. When I thought a never repeat a joke,
Mhm.
it, I was it my parts of my brain lit up, and my calling, my purpose was answered, and it shook me to the core. That whole 4 words, it still to this day, and I started it 11 years ago. It just shakes me to my core. I feel such a duty towards my website, towards my show, and I honestly felt as if that my friend, for example, he'll buy bath toysfortots.org, and then he'll sell websites.
Mhm.
So when I create a never repeat a joke, I felt as if I was going to be world famous. Like I felt as if all 7 continents were going to ask to buy my website. And so yeah, that was what my brain fart was
Mhm.
me thinking that back 11 years ago when I started neverrepeatajoke.com, I honestly thought I was going to be not only a multimillionaire, but I thought I kind of have these episodes sometimes where I think to myself, see, people treat you that way because they know they're famous,
Mhm.
or people, you're secretly rich, and I have a lot of these fantasies still that I feel that that I didn't fail at my website, at my show, or my app. It used to be an app.
Well, see, it's the thing when you're doing any career, anything you do, you have a stick with it, regardless of how big or slow things go. Because what you do today plants your seed for 5 or 10 years from now. It's not going to be an instant gratification. You can't be just stand up in 4 years. If you go to Steve Harvey, how many years did it take him to get to where he's at? Well, he'll say probably about 20 years. It's not a quick thing to do. When you're in entertainment, nothing comes quickly.
Yeah, and I mean I don't really believe everything I read when I see people or hear when I don't believe everything I hear and see, and when people are saying, "Oh well, TikTok, Logan Paul, and is a millionaire," and I'm like, "Well, yeah, but the guy's not." I mean, some people are talented, maybe, but a lot of these millionaire YouTubers and millionaire TikTokers, they sucker you, and and again, I don't I success is different definition than other. And I know I succeeded because I got into Never Repeat a Joke thinking that people thinking that I would get everyone's attention because people think it couldn't be done. And so I did what I accomplished. But I just felt as if while I was in it, um, those 4 years, it was really took a toll. And and a lot of people saying, "Oh, well, you're just a media whore and you're just trying to make an easy buck." And I'm thinking, well, honestly, I don't know any comedians that don't think that that their material isn't have some kind of worth. Otherwise, they wouldn't. If you didn't believe in yourself, people wouldn't go on stage and give them and give and put everything they got in one basket. They think that eventually they're planting seeds, as you were saying.
Mhm.
So the whole stand-up industry, it's just it's such a disease. It's like walking to a fraternity and thinking, oh well, the fraternity's so nice. And then you go inside and there's people peeing on the staircases. And I don't know if you've ever been in a fraternity, but I'm just as for the sake of analogy, I mean, there's no order in stand up whatsoever. I don't know how anybody. I mean, people say, "Oh well, diamonds are forged under pressure," and that's how we got, Dave Chappelle, and you were saying Steve Harvey, but um, I really don't see how, other than doing it for 20 years, as you were saying, like Steve Harvey was doing it. I don't see how anybody could succeed anymore.
Well,
Um,
it's not
you know,
okay. One, we have to get out of the we're succeeding based on someone else's success. We have to stop looking at other people's success and define our own. When you define your own success, then you figure out what works for you. It may not be a 20-year career, like for you is a 4-year career, and that was your success. Whereas Steve Harvey, it's been a 20 plus year career. That's his definition of success.
yeah, I mean, I'm just exactly, and I mean, I'm just looking at the way it is today,
Mhm.
and the way this comedy scene is today, and I guess it's kind of non-existent. But I mean, this whole mob mentality about, oh well, you don't have nice manners, and that's why they won't let you into the Comedy Store, or you're, you know, I don't know. You can't, you know, for people to quantify talent, it's ridiculous. And I don't think I'm a failure, but I just feel as if, and I did get a lot of attention and traction while I did never repeat a joke, because I do feel as if stand up it does help people learn about each other, but the way that stand up comedy is being advertised today, it's just wrong. You know, people saying, oh, it's so easy. You just go on stage and then you're a comedian, and then you just go on Twitter, and then the next thing you know, it's step by step, and it's like a snowball going downhill. It's just like, no, stand up. Google does allow you to create your own channel, and stand up is great because it challenges yourself. It's a battle of wits, you know, and it's also great because you get to meet people that are of your caliber. But um, the way that the way that people are saying, oh well, he's a better comedian than he is, so he should get more airtime, and that's the reason why right now there's no more, like, Pete Davidson's a garbage comedian. The only reason why people have any respect for him is because his dad died in 9/11. You know, I mean, the way that people choose popularity, that's always been a huge issue. You know, I mean, for me, if you were to think about, you know, if people would have listened to me when I had my app, and if I would have had a little bit more media attention, and people will say, hey, listen, you know, this comedian extraordinaire, he doesn't swear, and it's not about swearing, but I mean, he is kosher, and he's also he's doing what's never been done. People should also follow and do what he's doing, so people don't go and say, oh well, you know, the king of Austin is Daniel Tosh, not Dennis Leary, and Dennis Leary stole all of his material from Lenny Bruce, and people are, I'm just like, well, what the hell is going on? You know, I mean, why can't we treat people that deserve that deserve to be why can't we treat people that deserve, you know, respect and success, and deserve the attention? It's like that Dennis Leary, if you ever remember one of his acts, he said, you know, what we need is more drugs to the right people, you know. And I feel as if, you know, stand up had so much potential. It's industries, I don't know how it's run anymore. People are, it's all about diversity, and you have to be, um, you know, very, very um, inclusive now. But you know, I know you were saying it's all about putting enough time, you know, and 4 years was a good enough time. If I wouldn't have given up, that it could have gone somewhere. But I really feel like even if I put in 100 years or 1,000 years or 1,000,000 years, I really don't think anybody would have listened any any more than they did have, because people don't think that, I don't know, people thought that never repeat a joke, that I was taking too much of the pie, and that um I just wanted money, and that was never the case. I felt as if you know, people had their own YouTube channel, that everybody could create their own channel, and they could all never repeat jokes. And so then I came into the issue that well, that you can I don't know, I just felt as um I just tried to recruit people and have more and more people never repeat jokes, so that, because it can't be copywritten, so that we could all kind of have like a union and
Mhm.
unionize. But it never really picked up, and I mean, I see it now, and I see a lot of people on Netflix, and you know, and I do see people um you know, getting into the stratosphere, into ether, um and so yeah, I guess, you know, having your own special is the pinnacle of success, or what comedians, that's the finish line that we want to reach to before we should quit, you know. But
Yeah, because back
I
in the
and
day, if you were in comedy, the Apollo was the place to be. That was eons ago. But that was a place to be. Your definition of success is being able to be in the Apollo on the Apollo stage. Then the Apollo
Yeah.
closed, I'm pretty sure the Apollo closed a long time ago, but
No, I didn't.
that's where Steve Harvey, Dave Chappelle, several comedians started, was the Apollo. That's where they got found. But their success, they had this mindset: when I get to be on the Apollo, because the Apollo is the equivalent for comedians as the Grand Ole Opry is for country media. Okay, that's the parallel. You have this one place. Once you get to that, then you have the mindset of I'm a success. Well, success has been redefined thanks to social medias, to TikTok, YouTube, Twitter. I could go on and on and on. That's a new thing now. If you have 1,000 followers, 1,000,000 followers, whatever it is, that's a new definition of success. It's not being in the 100,000 person amphitheater. It's now, do I
Yeah,
have
exactly.
100,000 followers on TikTok? But where are you going with your career now, or are you just getting into just having your websites?
Well, I mean, I did apply to The Voice. I really wouldn't mind to go on America's Got Talent. I did have a show called Arabia's Got Talent. I performed at a talent show, but I felt as if I could have helped. I could have really helped add a lot of a hierarchy. And I still do. I still do. I still believe it every day. I hope The Voice reaches out to me. I hope America's Got Talent reaches out to me, because I mean they do a 30-second skit. It's like knock knock, who's there? Fill up who? Fill up my cup. I'm thirsty. That joke actually won joke of the year in 2005. And I do see a lot of people on The Voice and on America's Got Talent that you were saying that have been in it for 20 years. But the thing is that some people will be like, well, this guy's been working at it 30 years, and that joke is not. um, so yeah, it's a very fickle and ethereal industry, stand up, and I felt as if the merit behind a way that I was running the system was saying, well, if this guy could do 10 comedy clubs in one night and 10 different shows, then maybe there should be um a different way of saying, okay, well, he's funnier, he's more popular, he's a better comedian, he deserves more followers, he deserves more airtime. It's like, dude, just because you know of a friend that go up there and does a baby Huey joke and you laugh, that you're gonna go to his next show. It's like, yeah, I know you have to perform more times than other people, but um, I mean, I had a lot of success. To think about some guy to just improv for 4 years and got as much as reactions as I did. But again, when I started, I felt as if I should have got attention from all seven continents. I should have been gotten phone calls from Barack and saying, dude, how do you never repeat a joke? How are you doing that after 4 years? How do you create all that material? How are you televising it, advertising it, marketing it? How are you editing it? I felt as if that could have added so much more, because you were saying, people are just care about followers. But when they see somebody that is a one-man show and actually is directing and starring in it, um, people should have more clout. There should be more reverence, so people could say, "Oh yeah, you know what? Maybe we should do it the way that Ramsey's doing it," instead of saying, "Oh well, we're gonna go at it from a crooked angle and just use our and pull some strings and increase some palms." It's like, yeah, but then you realize why nobody's laughing. Then you realize why you go on Letterman and nothing happens. you get no reaction. It's like because you don't deserve it, and I really wish I would have went longer and blazed more of a trail and reached more people to show people that hard work pays off. But I don't know, somewhere I made a mistake, and I'm pretty sure it's because I got mad other comedians and I didn't get along.
Well, it's a very wonderful insight that you have, and we are almost out of time. So where
Right.
can our viewers and our listeners find you?
Well, thanks so much. I really, really needed that. So yeah, I mean, just never repeat a joke. It's on any handle that you could think of, Snap or Insta or Twitter. Oh, never repeat a joke got deleted off Twitter. I don't know why, but the hashtag is still there, and the website and the TV show on YouTube.
Awesome. Well, thank you for joining me today.
Well,
And for our viewers and our listeners, happy viewing.